Hi everyone, my name is Avinash, and in this video, we are going to discuss how we can automate the deployment process to these containers. All right, we are going to perform a CI/CD deployment with the help of a AWS own services like CodeCommit and CodeBuild, CodeDeploy, and we are going to automate this with the help of CodePipeline. So basically, in our earlier demos, what we have performed, we have taken this code, right, this app.js, and we have taken this package.json. We prepare the Docker image with the help of this Docker file. So then after, we have pushed that Docker image to our ECR registry. So from that ECR, we have created a service and we perform the deployment. Okay. So now we want to automate this entire process. So for that, we can use GitHub or we can use AWS own repository service called CodeCommit. So I prefer to go with the CodeCommit. Let's first go to CodeCommit and create a repository. I'm going to call this repository as node CICD, then click on create. All right, once this repository created, so we need to clone this to our local environment. For that, I already installed this GRC, Git Remote Code Commit protocol, right? It is going to use that HTTPS GRC protocol to clone or to push to perform all the activities. So here is the prerequisite. So you first need to you need to have a Python as a prerequisite. Then you can clone this empty repository. So currently I don't have any files. If you scroll even down, you can see this is an empty repository. So let's copy this command and clone it in your local laptop. So you will get an empty repository. All right, I'll go to my desktop and I'm going to create a new folder. CICD demo is the name I'm giving it. All right, so let's take command prompt, desktop, CICD demo. So now I'm executing this command. But before that, I already have this AWS access key ID secret access key configured in this machine that user have valid permission on code commit. So I can clone without any difficulty. So it's saying the clone is completed. We can give ls, you can see node CICD. Let's go inside this node CICD. If you give ls, I don't have any files. Now, whatever the actual code I have, right? So this is the code I have used so far. This is a Docker file, the package and app.js, all these. Now I'm going to copy to this CICD folder where Git will detect all these files and all. So you can run Git status. You can see it's saying 3 files added. So now let's commit this code to our AWS code commit. Right. So for that, first I'm going to staging the files. So git commit -m is a commit message I'm giving. My first code is a commit message I'm giving. So then git push. Right. So now I'm pushing all this to my central repository. The branch I'm using is a main branch. All right. If you don't have much knowledge on this Git, I already made uh, a playlist for this Git, so you can refer that playlist in this YouTube channel, so you can gain some knowledge how exactly this Git command, what is this Git add, what happens in backend, all those. So that is the reason I'm not talking much about what exactly these commands will do. Okay, let's verify. Just go here and give a refresh. All right, our code is here. Okay, fine. This code is here, and also we have this Docker file. So now the next stage is we need to create a pipeline. So in that pipeline, right, while creating the pipeline, it will ask us for a build project. So this build is just like a Maven, right? Or what is another common build tools like Maven, Ant, right? So this AWS code build launch a machine like in backend use containerization mechanism only. It launch a machine and it is going to whatever the commands we are going to give it picks it whatever commands we perform manually. So generally, if you want to push something to this repository, what we did, we have first logged in, then we prepared the build, then we added the tag and we pushed it. So these all commands we are going to pass through the build spec file inside this. Where is yeah, here is yeah. So inside a build specs file, and I'm going to pass that. So that is going to be second stage. Third stage is going to be where do you want to deploy? So we are going to create a service in our ECS cluster and we are going to deploy to that service. All right, for to perform all those things, first we need a pipeline. Go to pipelines, click on create pipeline. And the pipeline name is my node CICD, and I'm going to use new service role, then click on next, and it will ask you where is your what is your service provider. So what happened whenever any changes happened on our code and whenever any developer committed the changes to this repository, automatically um, you know automatically the pipeline is going to trigger. So in my case, I'm using code commit instead of ECR. Directly, whenever any new image comes to ECR, also we can do that. I prefer to go with the code commit this time and click on repository name. Whatever the repository I have, I'm selecting it and I'm going with main branch. And also, how you're going to detect changes happening on this repository. So recommended to use this CloudWatch. Whenever any change happen, it is going to release this pipeline. So then scroll down, click on next. Now, who is your build provider? If you want to integrate with Jenkins and all, you can do that. So then click on AWS CodeBuild. It's in Mumbai region. Let's click on create project. Click on create project and the project name, my node project is a name I'm calling it as. Right, if you want to restrict concurrent builds, if you enable this only one build at a time, so I don't have any such type of requirements. And what is this? As I told you, this code build is going to backendly, it launches some containers or it launches some machines to perform all the command executions and all. So you can go and choose a Docker image, or you can go with a AWS own managed image. So I'm good with AWS managed one, and I'm going with Ubuntu. Runtime, I'm going with standard, and image, we can go with the latest one. So you image version always use the latest image for this runtime version. And also as we want to use this for our to prepare our build and also we can enable this privileged option. Enable this flag if you want to build Docker images or you want to build to get elevated privileges. So as we want to build Docker images with the help of this build spec file, so I'm going to choose this. And also what is the new service role you want to give? And remember one thing, whatever the service role you are giving here, so that role should have permission on our ECR service to get that. So if you don't provide that permission, obviously it's going to fail. So code build service role hyphen YT hyphen node is the name I'm giving. Let's uh, add permissions after some time. So now you can give that build spec file here or you can give build commands here. I'm going to use this insert build commands and click on switch to editor. All right. So if you observe this build spec file, it has something like the version 0.2 is a common one, and what environment variables you want to give. You want to pass any sensitive information like a username and passwords from secrets manager, and what are the phases. You want to install something, you want to pass any commands, and pre-build commands. For example, ECR login comes under this pre-build. To perform that build, what is a command you want to give? After the build, post build operations, right? You can pass all that information here. So I already prepared this and kept it ready. So this is what that build spec file is. So this build spec file contains some stages. First, pre-build stage, this command. I have not these are not so intelligent commands, okay? Whatever the commands you generally use to log in to your ECR, same commands I have used here. First command is to log in, second is to build that with the help of that, the Docker file. Then we are adding a tag, then we are pushing, and it is going to take that image URI and it is going to write it to a file called image definitions.json. So if you scroll right, and here you can see whatever the information we required, that is picking and it is writing to this image definitions.json file. So this we are going to use, right? So let me copy all, and I'm going to remove everything first, and I'm going to paste it here. All right. So then logs, if you want to create any logs, you can give that here like a CloudWatch logs group, and log streams you can create. If you want to identify what is happening in backend and all, you can simply enable this and click on continue to code pipeline. Now, code pipeline, a project created. Okay, whatever the commands we are passing, that is going to execute, and it will take this pipeline further. Okay, now we have selected the project and we are going to use the single build. So then click on next. Now, who is the deployment provider? So the deployment provider is ECS. All right, in ECS, what is the cluster you want to use? We already have whatever the cluster I'm making this entire video series, that cluster still available here. Let's go to this cluster. This is what my cluster, my demo cluster, and currently I don't have any services and not even any task. This cluster is idle now. So now go and select that cluster name and what is a service. So I want to create one service, and before that, whatever the build output we are getting that as an artifact file, you need to pass that artifact file information here, right? So now the service name. So currently I'll create one service in our ECS. Go to cluster services. Right, click on create, and you want to go with the last type, and I'm going to create a service and family. I'm going to use the task definition we created in our previous videos. My node is a task definition, task family, and I'm going to use this revision 3, and service name CICD demo is a service name I'm giving, and how many tasks you required. So whenever any new deployment happened, the previous one is going to it always verify what is the desired count. Desired count, if you are giving one, so the actual count, where is it? It verifies what is the desired task count and what is the actual task count. So whenever any new task comes, the old one is going to delete automatically. When new deployment happen, old task will overridden with the new one. So I'm going to take one or two, anything fine. I'm good with one just for testing purpose. Then again, networking. So I'm going to use that regular our ECS security group only. And load balancing, yeah, I'm going to use an existing load balancer that we already discussed in our previous video. I'm going to use same load balancer, and I already have a listener. I'm going to use that listener, and target group also. I'm going to use an existing one only. So if you observe, currently this is what my target group is. This is what my target group. I don't have any targets now. So there is no output from this load balancer. Okay, let's grab the DNS name. Okay, there is no output. Right, once this service creation completed, so automatically we are going to get one service and we will get output also. All right, so this service name I'm going to use in this pipeline. So obviously this service is going to take just a minute or two. Let's verify the status of the service. Go here, and currently one is in progress. Once this service creation completed, as we integrated with load balancer, that is going to register here. Okay, let's give a quick refresh. One is in progress. Okay, I probably in our next video, I'll make a very lengthy video. So the entire process on a custom VPC in a very standard way. So yeah. All right. So that creation completed and the registration happened here, and also we should get output now. You see this? Okay, we are getting that one. I have modified the code actually. All right, so now let's go and select the service here. Okay, just need to refresh. All right, select Mumbai, select the cluster name and the service CICD demo and the task definition, image definition file is image definitions.json is the name I have given. So then click on next. Now scroll down, create pipeline. So when the pipeline creation happen, automatically it will try to uh, release that pipeline. It will it will automatically start the stages. But as I told you, there is a role associated to our code build. So that role actually don't have valid permissions. So this role, where is that? Okay, this is a node project, and obviously, when you click on logs, it will show you what exactly happening and whether it is success or failure. It will show you. Let's wait to get the status. It is in progress now. So generally, it is going to spin up. Okay, the code build completed now. Sorry, code commit completed now. It took all the code from code commit and it is started preparing the build. So now you go here, click on view logs. Okay, so you can see that error while executing this command and all. So basically, so it's a authentication error. You can observe that here. When calling, whenever this command is running, get authorization token operation, it's saying whatever the role I have associated now, that role don't have permission to get authorization token, so it's not able to perform anything into that ECR service. All right. So now let's go to build project. And when you go to build project, you can see what exactly the build details, no? Where is that role? Role. This is reports, environment variables, build details. Yes, here is the service role. So it is under build details and under environment. So you just open this and you can provide the appropriate permissions. Go to add permissions, attach policy. You can give one power user policy, EC2 container registry power user, or if you want Amazon EC2 container registry administrator policy also, or full access policy also. So in our case, the power user access is fine. Add permissions. Now, so what we can do, we can go and we can give a retry here. Now the build stage is retrying. Okay, you can give a refresh entire page and it is in progress. Let's click on view logs. Okay, and just observe the logs, what is happening. And also before that, I want to show one thing in this ECR. So this contain only one image now, that is only latest one. Okay, so Once this build project completed, we should get another one. So basically this 4.9, one should override. Okay, let's monitor that here. So now we can see the login is succeeded. So the role perform the thing and the stages like the build is happening and whatever the stages we mentioned in the Docker file, it is going to execute here. So it is running command. The build is happening currently. Okay, once the build completed, it is adding the tag and it is pushing that image now. So the push also completed and the information also returns to that image definition file. So let's go to ECR and give a refresh. And you see, now we got a new Docker image here. So once we got the new Docker image, so automatically this task definition. So if you observe this my node, earlier we selected node version 3 whenever we are creating the service, but now we got node 4. So the task definition updated automatically. And also now if you observe the service, okay, if you select the service here, one task is in progress. So actually, one already in running state and another one is in pending state. So this pending state one is nothing but the CICD triggered one. So once a CICD trigger one come, this existing running one will stop automatically. It will drain from our load balancer. So this is what our current output. So let's verify the CICD status. Right. So that now you see here it's completed and also observe the target group. Existing task IP address is 78. Now you give a refresh. We got two. One is 78 and second one is 210. So now what happens? This ECR, ECS verify what is the service desired count and the desired is only one and currently two are in running. So there is a difference between desired task and currently running tasks. So obviously it is going to pick one task and it is going to kill. So you see here the 17.78.1 is automatically draining. So only the new one, whatever the CI/CD pipeline deployed, only that is delivering the output. Okay, so now how to test this again? So if you want to test this, so what we can do some modification in our app.js file. Let me open this and I'm going to modify this instead of hello from ECS. Hi, we have configured CI/CD and testing now. So I did a modification. When we did modification, if I run git status, it will detect whatever file it is modified. And also, I want you to observe this uh, pipeline. So when this source triggered around 7 minutes back, okay. So now I'm going to run git add git commit. I'm giving a commit message, testing CICD, then click on enter, and I'm giving git push. So automatically the code is now pushing to repository. When that code push happened, this pipeline automatically detects that. Okay, now observe. So the last execution is 7 minutes back and current execution started just now. So once this execution completed, so then it will go to build stage, it perform the build, then it is going to deploy. So the process, it is going to happen again same. And instead of this hello from ECS, we are going to get so this modified content, whatever the content, how you have configured CI/CD and testing now, right? So that is going to delivered. So obviously this is going to take some time. So meanwhile, if you want to add any additional stages for this pipeline, we can do that. So one stage, what we can add is we can add manual approval. So right, whenever this pipeline triggers, if you want to add any manual approval, you click on edit. At what stage you want to add? Once this when developer committed any code, it comes to our repository, right? Instead of directly preparing a build, I want to inspect that changes and I want to get notified. Okay, so if we give approval, then only it should go to build stage. I want to add that. So click on add stage for that. I'm calling it as a manual approval. Add stage, add action group, action name, again manual approval, action provider, I'm going to select manual approval. If you want to add any other, invoking some resources or performing any testing, you can add that here. Manual approval. What is the SNS topic you want to use? I already have one, I'm going to use that. Then click on done. So now scroll down and save. Okay. So now we have added manual approval stage. So the previous deployment is happening. It's not completed yet. Okay, let's observe that status here. Now, two tasks, one is in pending, another one is running. So one is the old one, and we are going to get a new one. Currently, you observe we got the three, and also the existing one, the previous one is raining. And now, if you wait for a minute or two, right, we are getting output from both. So the reason the existing connection not completely drained. So once this new service fully up and running, so automatically AWS will verify, okay, what is the running state and desired state, and it is going to, right, it is going to remove one, and we are going to get only this latest one as an output. All right, so now if you again try to release, so the manual process also should take effect. So, but before that, this deployment need to complete. So that is how exactly we can automate this containerization deployment process. I hope you find this video informative. So, in another last video as part of this, so basically, this is what the topic I want to deliver. But I want to summarize everything and I want to make all this on top of our custom VPC with public subnets and private subnets. All right, thanks for watching this video. And if you're expecting more videos on AWS services, so please subscribe to this YouTube channel and share this with someone who is trying to learn this AWS. So that the deployment is still happening. So when deployment is still happening, we can expect output from both, and seems that is completed. Okay, give a refresh to the deployment. So now observe the target group. Both are draining. Only latest one we are getting here. All right, we got the expected output with the help of this pipeline. Thanks for watching this video, guys. See you again.